Hey y'all, welcome back. Jason and Michelle here. We're the EKKO Nesters. And as you can see, if you've been following along with us, this is not Bad Betty. And who was Bad Betty? If you're just now tuning in and getting used to us, Bad Betty was our 2022 Winnebago EKKO built on the Transit chassis. What we now have is the 2025 Winnebago EKKO built on the Sprinter chassis, or I should say the Mercedes chassis. And one of the things that you're probably picking up on right away is the full configuration change right here in the cab area. So as we walk through this video, what Michelle and I thought we would do is, being that we have a lot of familiarity with the vehicle from running a Winnebago commercial and then doing some videos in and out of different RV shows, we've never actually up until just now owned one ourselves, which is a complete game changer. I'd say when you're going from just touch in, fill in, telling people about things to actually experiencing everything that the 2025 Winnebago Sprinter EKKO offers. So as we go through this video, it's not really going to be a comparison video, but you're probably going to hear me chime in because I'm not going to be able to help it with some of the things that we're used to and some of the things that we're getting used to. So I'm going to invite you all up front to the cab. This is where we'll start. And you can immediately see that as I come into the space, it's very generous. The spacing between the seats, I'm just going to tell you, it's easy to get in and out of. I also like the fact that the floor is padded. It actually has a lot of absorption to it. I like the material that they used. It's very easy to clean. I feel it's going to be easy to maintain over time. Of course, we're looking at different mat systems. If some of y'all got some good suggestions, or maybe you're in the trade out there, the business doing this, we'd love to talk to you and learn more about it. Because again, this area is a little new to us. So the other thing that you might be picking up on as you're looking here is that you're seeing a rear view, a camera, if you will, of the back of the vehicle. We actually love this. And I'm going to show you a little feature here that I think is pretty nice. Let's say you want to get rid of camera mode. Flip back and you want to use the mirror, so to speak. It comes back. Whenever you're driving, whether you're going forward or reverse, this is continuously active, if you will. The other thing is it has a lot of features here. You can toggle in, you can adjust the camera, you can adjust the brightness. There's a lot of things that we haven't played with. I've been pretty satisfied with where the settings were. I've loved it during the evening, or I should say nighttime driving, daytime driving. The visibility that I have behind me is incredible. But let's look at this 10.25 inch MBUX, beautiful touchscreen right here. I'm going to just kind of swing through, just kind of show you what's going on here. Got your media center info. We can look at fuel consumption, operator's manual, the engine. Now, we're not driving right now, so it's not going to give us that information. I can go back to home. We've got some other settings. If we were to kind of tune into here, you can go through from lane assist keeping. You can adjust a lot of the safety features like the active brake assist. Let's say we're here and we want to change some of the settings in there. It's all adaptive to your needs. You can play a little bit with the automatic door lock system, the lighting system for the interior, the delays, and it kind of goes on. So as you get through these features and you're toggling through, one of the other things that I think that Mercedes did well here is, let's say that I'm not a big person that maybe just wants my phone in the first setting and my radio in the second and my navigation. Maybe I'm more of, I like to have my navigation where I like it. You press, hold, and move things around. This very much might remind you of maybe your iPad, or if you have an Android pad of some sort, almost identical. This is a super easy system to learn. The other things that you can rely on are navigation, map, telephone, everything that you see here. Let's say you're not a touchscreen person, you really want to use the functions from this standpoint. It's all there. It's adaptive, I would say, more to what your needs are. Now, I'm going to just start her up here just for a moment, which we might as well talk about that for just a moment. So you've got your keys here, lock, unlock, some of the other keys that take care of some other features, locks, outside cabinets, etc. Let me turn down the AC here for just a moment. But again, if we were going to push these buttons, I've got the full, what I'm seeing back here, this is our the full rear camera. And as you can see, I mean, that is a beautiful display. And we can adjust from there. We can get a little bit more of what I'm going to call a full panoramic view, and then another partial view, and a little bit more of a narrow view. The other thing that you notice is that our heating controls are right here. You've got your air conditioning. You're going to easily be able to go through the functions of whether you want just more direct on you, feet, I would call it defrost features and or combination. The other thing is your hazards are right there. Pretty much you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, you begin to figure out where things are, memory of that. The other thing is we've got a little glove compartment area right here. Nice, generous sized box. Maybe you want to keep a couple papers or some. I be quite frank with y'all, I just usually have the keys sitting right there. The other one here, which is pretty neat here, is as you can see, there's USB-C plugs, etc. But right here, if you placed your phone right in this section, right there, that is a charging pad right there. You don't need to be plugged in. You can set your phone down, your device, close the lid. So we're going to move right on over to the steering wheel. And I'm going to kind of flash through this a little bit. Let's say maybe, I don't want to be too redundant on some things here. But let's say we've got her fired back up. Mercedes probably wondering what I'm doing here. So all of the controls that you have here on your dash and or here manually operated are also at your fingertips. If I want to adjust the volume of the radio, there we go. If I want to go back to the home screen, I would push here. And this little guy right here is what allows you, if you just slightly roll your finger right over there, you can see the screen change right there. So that's kind of a neat function. This is where your adaptive cruise control feature. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment, but you can activate cruise control from here, toggle up to your desired speed, miles per hour. It'll all be on the dash as you're driving. Again, this little button right here allows you to toggle through. Right now, we have gone 2,555 miles. I thought we were only around 2,100. The other thing is obviously the range left on our fuel is about 244, sitting at idle. It says we've got a bonus of 6.6. We'll get into some of this stuff. And again, I can move through these. It'll tell me my average miles per gallon, the distance traveled, all that fun stuff. You can cancel, obviously, by pushing on the foot brake, and you can also cancel here. There's just a lot of good features here, especially with this nice, I believe this is a leather-wrapped steering wheel. It's very comfortable. Your wipers, this is actually really cool. We might as well do it. We don't have any rain. I want you all to watch what happens with the wipers here. This is actually one of my favorite. You see how the water is spraying actually out of the wiper arms rather than shooting up against the window. Basically, my understanding on this is that feature saves about 50% of the fluid overall in usage. So these are the memory functions. There are up to 3 settings that this seat can be programmed and memorized in. So let's say Shell is the passenger. One day I'm the passenger, and maybe one of our boys is the passenger. They're just going to hit their memory function, pick their selected number, and the seat's going to adjust. Mercedes has done an excellent job. Of course, these seats. How can I help? See, you can't say her name. Cancel, Mercedes. Thank you. I'm also polite.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Sorry. Cancel, Mercedes.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
So we're going to get past that. We may have to fast forward that part of the video. So anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about the safety features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of shut her down really quickly here and get everything reset, and then I'm going to be right back with y'all. So focusing on more of what Mercedes has done, I want to say a little bit differently than some other folks and very similar to other folks. We're going to just start with active brain assist. No, I do need that right now. But basically active brake assist. So one of the things that Mercedes does is, let's say you're driving down the road, much like some other vehicles, and you start to encounter an obstacle of some sort, and you happen to have an active brake assist system in general. A lot of cars are operating specifically off of a camera system to identify the surroundings and make a decision as to how they're going to apply some of the braking and or assist you through that. Now, what Mercedes is doing a little bit differently, and I'm sure there's a lot of other vehicles that are doing this, but speaking more for them, is they're not only using a camera system, they're using a radar system. So the system is very, very intelligent. It's actually taking in a lot of information and then helping to make those decisions. What it's not doing initially is taking full control over what you're doing. It will, as it senses what's going on and you're applying the brake, and it's, for lack of a better word, monitoring what's going on with these obstacles, it's going to apply brake pressure in ways that maybe you're not realizing and making you feel like you're even a better driver. So that is one of the things that Michelle and I have been experiencing and experimenting with along the way. And I would say it's probably definitely a feature that we appreciate. The other thing is the active lane keeping assisting feature. if we were driving down the road right now, I'm going to actually do some video on this so we can kind of blend them in and do a little picture in picture. Right on your display here, right on your dash, you're going to see a silhouette, if you will, of your Mercedes. And depending what's happening, if you're diverting out of the lane and the vehicle realizes, one, you don't have your turn signal on, and two, it does not appear to be an active lane change, one that sort of makes sense on how the system's interpreting the way the vehicle should be making those maneuvers, it's going to alert you. It's going to begin to apply brake pressure. It's going to make some audible sounds and a little bit of vibration, and it's going to send a red flag either on the, I should say a red line, either on the right-hand side or the left-hand side of the silhouette of the vehicle. Again, we're going to put a little picture in picture on that. And it's going to try to bring you back into the lane and assist you. That feature I actually saw work really well. There was a couple of times when it was, I want to almost say overworking. There were some really bright white fog lines and some solid yellow lines, and the lane was very narrow, but it knew when we began to drift, it wanted to pull us right over. Once you got used to it and you realize that Mercedes is on your team, if you will, in that. The last thing that I probably want to share with you in respect to safety is actually got a little bit to do with the suspension. We're going to talk about that in a different video. This is a large vehicle. There is a big box on the back of this vehicle, and we're demanding a lot as drivers that we're probably not even aware of in our conditions of driving. And when the suspension comes into play, when we pull right out of the gate from a dealership, one of the things that we're probably hoping on is that the manufacturer of the chassis developed this vehicle specifically to handle certain loads. So again, compliments to Winnebago on selecting this chassis, the 3500, the 170 chassis, respect that, because one of the things that Michelle and I noticed is the sway bars are probably pretty decent on here. There's not a lot of body roll and sway. There is room for some improvement. I also believe that the suspension package, and we're going to get more into that later, they did a pretty good job on. Again, room for improvement is subjective. Again, whole different video. You guys are going to love what's coming up ahead. But I would say out the gate, you're going to be pretty satisfied. And then as you begin to drive the vehicle and experience it yourself, I think that your mods are going to start speaking to you. So is there anything else? I mean, there's a ton of other safety stuff we can go over that you can think of. I thought before I stepped out of this area where the cab's at, I want to show you a little tip/trick. So let's say that you've gotten to your location and the day and the evening is going to progress, and you're going to set up the dinette area for either you, maybe some company, etc. And you know that you're going to spin these seats around. One of the things I like to do before I get out of my seat is go ahead and move it all forward. Just kind of get it done out of the way. And what it allows you to do is immediately spin the seat around without opening the door, which is really nice. There's been some discussion on this versus the Transit. I still think I'm winning this discussion. Anyway, moving forward. And there you go, in place, ready to go. And of course, this will maintain its height. Now, I'm going to spin the seat back around now just because I don't really need it to be here at this point, because we're going to be demonstrating some other things, which is, sorry, grab my lever. I keep saying leather. So let's get into the dinette area. And as we step into the dinette area, not only are you going to see some storage cubbies, very generous, both sides. This is where we keep our thermal blanket, which we'll discuss more about that later. But you're also going to notice that this particular version, the one that we ordered, has the entertainment package. Really quickly, it's 24-inch TV here, smart TV, JBL soundbar. By the way, the JBL soundbar is phenomenal. Now, do we use the TV when we had it in our Transit? And have we even used it here in our Sprinter EKKO? Let's be quite honest with y'all. Twice in the Transit that I can ever recall. Once was just getting an idea of how it felt from here in the bed, and another time was trying to catch a movie on there. And what we determined is we don't watch a lot of TV when we're out on the road. Number two, if you're laying in the back area, you either got to move towards the center and or lean over because of where it's at. And if you're sitting here, again, whether it's the Transit or the Mercedes, you're kind of looking upward, which over time, I think it kind of puts a little strain on your neck. And I think when you're out there anyway, just enjoy what's happening around you. So, but the soundbar is great. The TV is there. And for a lot of folks, it might be a secondary monitor. So we chose to get it. It wasn't horribly expensive. And the list moves on. The other thing that you're going to notice is there's some under cabinet lighting right here. Might as well talk a little bit about that. Two generous sized cabinets, which we have not configured yet. As you see, we don't even have groceries or anything in here. All of our goodies from Winnebago. You're also going to notice here the hinging system is a little different. And she stops right there. There's no longer little magnetic catches and or bumpers on the ceiling, which I think is nice. Again, that works on both sides. The other thing you're going to notice just really quickly before we talk about the dinette area, switch here for the overhead light, some 110. Right here, we've got some USB-C, basically all your standard plugs and what folks used to refer to as a cigarette outlet and or 12-volt plug. Again, same thing here, which is really nice, especially if you're on the road and you're going to need some of these plug-ins, whether you're sitting here driving safely, sitting, and maybe the driver's up here and you're working on some work stuff. You've got everything around here, lighting, the whole bit. Window, oh yeah, lots of air ventilation. You're going to notice that on this window, it is the typical ratcheting window, just like this. You find where you want it to be, it clicks into place. These are your latches to lock it down. And of course, you got the bug screens. This is the updated version. I believe 2023 and newer comes with this. They're a little bit more rigid, more solid. There's not any deflection. And the idea was to keep the insects out. Some folks were, I would say, sharing that information with Winnebago, and Winnebago said, hey, let's look for another solution. That's what they did. On this side, though, a little bit different. I call a little bit more European configuration.
Oh, windows new. This whole area.
Yeah, actually, you're right. This whole area is new. The other thing that you're going to notice, this is not the ratcheting system. Let me show them right here. This arm that you see here comes on out. You twist it into place, and as you can tell, it's nice and breezy and windy out there. And you can do accordingly. The other thing is you have the blackout shades right here. Full configuration, locks down. Same thing applies to this side. Now, when we say full blackout, the only thing that you might notice is where the threading comes down on some of the wider shades, little pinholes of where it's threaded through. There is a small amount of light that does come through if you have to be camped in a campground or a gas station. They got a lot of overhead lights, but it's never bothered me. If it does bother you, you probably get a little shade made or do something a little different. Now, we're at the dinette area. One of the things that I wanted to share with you is what you can expect from this table in order to use this feature right here that allows, if you will, this to drop down. Now, the reason that I want to share this with you is when you bring this up all the way, you got your full surface area here, you're going to notice underneath here that there's a little slide arm, okay? Now, that little slide arm is designed to come all the way over into this area here, but you're also going to notice that here in a moment, there's a little piece of felt to help create some friction. The vehicle is very, very new, and as you can see, the effort takes a little bit more than maybe what's expected. I think over time, that felt piece is going to wear in a little bit and it's going to get easier. But again, it's so new. I didn't want to tell y'all, boy, this is super simple and it just slides like a little dream. It will eventually, I believe. Yeah. But as you can see, it's going to take a little effort. Do not let that alarm you. So the other thing we want to talk about really quickly is there is a lap belt here. So now we have 3 occupants. And I'm going to clone myself really quickly and come over here. And this will make the 4th occupant that can legally travel with a seatbelt. This one happens to go over the top of the shoulder here. And you lock right in. And we meet all the rules and regulations for 4 people to travel down the road, 4 individuals. Now, with that being said, one of the things you're going to notice is, yes, it retracts just fine and properly. However, if you have the cushion compressed against it, like I did, it's not going to retract as easy. Again, don't let that alarm you. Just be aware. You need to scoot that over a little bit. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, let me pop this off real quick. There was a question in one of the comments that we had is, what about restraint for a child seat? You can see right here, there is child seat restraint right here locked in. So if that's been a concern of yours, you can take care of that. And again, if you look, it retracts very quick and easy, again, because we're not creating friction with the cushion. So that's something for you to just more or less be aware of. And we're going to go ahead and put this back because we want to demonstrate all of this with y'all. These just snap right into place and it's done. So Shell's going to get started here in just a moment. And we're going to talk a little bit about this and where it goes and what's so cool about it. And I'm going to take over the camera.
I'm going to set up these 2 couches in this nice little lounge area. I'm going to start by pulling up on this little table.
This can kind of be
Gently.
tricky. Would you agree?
Yeah, it
Just
took me a few times.
And then once you're up,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
see.
and you're going to want to make sure this is out of the way just by
Good
making
idea.
sure it's, you know, because when you travel, it can come forward sometimes.
And in case the cushion had
Yeah.
slid.
So,
Okay.
yeah, this is out of the way.
Very
Nice little push that in. That there.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we are going to use this awesome little, I call it a little protector.
Yeah, nice.
It has a little, yeah, it has a magnetic strip right here that just goes right top of here.
Let's talk about that for a moment. Because some folks actually were very curious what that was. And when in our last video, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what that was. And that's to protect the cushion, just as you said, from coming in contact with the metal. I think that's genius.
No, it's nice. It would rip, it would damage the back of it.
What do we got going on here?
So now we're going to take this little headrest cushion off. I'm going to set it aside for now.
All right.
Put it right over here. And we're going to turn this around. Well, actually, let's just start by grabbing this one.
Okay.
Always just put the zipper towards the back, obviously.
Smart.
Push it in there. Make sure they're lined up. Turn this one around. Yeah.
I like how it just sets right underneath the window ledge.
It's just perfect. It's just perfect. I love this setup. And it's so comfy. Set this one right here.
Oh, tell them the
Tuck it
trick
in.
you discovered on that shelf so nobody puts it in upside down. A little ledge on the back.
Oh, yeah.
So
This little thing goes right over there.
Yep. It's right over that.
Yeah.
I'll figure that one out.
Oh, boy.
Well, it is
Figure
just a nice
that
little tip.
So, yeah.
This just kind of goes to the back or
yeah,
whatever.
we'll just put it in the back
You
for
want to
now.
make it an armrest just for kicks?
Let's just make an armrest. Sure. Set it right there.
There we
So
go.
now we're going to get the table set up.
Okay. So I'm going to switch places with y'all. And,
All right.
There we go.
So you keep the base of it is in this little.
Let me go in there and just show them
Closet. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a great idea. Okay. There's the base, and it's just kind of clipped in. All right. Let's see.
Grab that. Just has one little clip. It's very light. And, you know, it can go either way, but, you know, just stick with the words. And it's, you don't have to twist it. It just sets right there.
Very nice.
Very easy. Then you're going to come over here, and the tabletop is stored right here, and it's held down by a little, I'd say, snap.
It's almost just a little friction fit in the cubby.
Yeah. And you're going to you don't have a lot of space to maneuver it out, and you don't want to damage all your trim and whatnot. So you're just going to gently pull it out, and
it's not that heavy, right?
It's actually not, and you're just going to kind of pivot.
All right.
And so you're going to.
I want to talk a little
Yeah,
bit
go
about
ahead.
this.
Yeah, tell them about that. No,
you sure?
Yeah,
okay.
you're right.
So basically, if we undo the latch here, this allows this to slide back and forth. Right here, as you can see, on some rollers and wheels and a cable, and you can lock it into place. I think what you shared with me earlier is that you kind of found that you liked it. I moved out of the way for you. Sorry about that. More to the middle.
When I'm putting it on, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, let's see how that works. I'm going to scoot towards the cab area to give her a little room. All right, Shell, go for it.
I'm going to line up the... It's not too heavy.
Hercules, you just whip that table right up.
It is no problem.
So basically, you're just lining those two up, and you can almost feel for where it fits in.
Yeah.
Just,
boom. Yeah. Sets in there real nice. And I do a little lock right here yet.
You know, you
what
can
do you
unlock
think?
it.
You can?
Go ahead and unlock it.
Yeah.
And then you can show how the table can slide just a few little ways.
Yep.
But one of the things that we noticed
very
is you
cool.
can slide left or right.
Yeah.
And you can also move it back and forth.
Yeah.
And it allows people to kind of get in and out and get good position.
Yeah.
So
very
I'm
cool.
Trade you places real quick. And
Like
I think
this.
what I'll do is I'll demonstrate how the front chairs turn around. Can we do that?
It's a great idea, yeah.
All right, we're going to trade y'all.
And we're going to turn the dinette area into a bed. We're going to lift the top of the table off. I'm going to gently set it aside over here. Actually, yes, that's what I'm going to do. Think about the process. We've done this a few times. You can take the table base off. Easy. Set it back there for now. You're going to take the tabletop and you are going to line up. Well, first you're going to want to make sure this is even and level and set just like that when you're getting ready to put this on top.
So basically what you're saying is when you kick that little table part down there, just make sure it's like
flat.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yep. And you're gonna woo! And you're gonna gently just put this on top of the ledge. I usually start on the driver's side for some reason. And then you're just going to set it over here. Make sure it's all even. Right here. Then you're going to take, well, you're going to start by just moving this cushion right here to this side.
So you take the seat of the passenger side cushion of the dinette and mostly tuck it closer.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Just kind of like the middle pad.
Gotcha.
And then you're going to unsnap these. And you're going to turn this around because you're going to want, obviously, ergonomically, have the
I'm going to try to
head
get
here.
You look at that cushion, it is sloped upward.
Yeah, so you
if
got
you had your head right there. Okay.
You got an instant pillow. Then you're going to take the small pad that was a headrest over there.
Over here. Okay.
And you're just going to tuck that in right here. And voila.
And that's the bed.
This is the bed. It's awesome. It's comfy. And what am I, 5'5.5"? Oh, yeah. I like it.
Remember the other night when we were driving back?
Yeah.
We were with Luca and I slept on
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was crazy comfortable.
We love it. So, yeah. So
Very
that's
nice.
the bed.
That's it.
Yep.
You just reverse the process.
Yep. Easy.
Very cool.
And it's comfy.
It is comfy. All right, y'all. We're going to move on to the next thing. Good job, Shell.
Thanks, Jay.
So as you can see, we've moved into the kitchen area. And before we kind of talk about all the goodies that are going on here, the way that the sink has been changed from that of the Transit, the depth, etc., I want to talk a little bit about what's going on here as you're entering the coach with your control panels for your lighting, the deployment of your awning, your steps, etc., because there are some things that have changed here. Now, I'm going to start with just the carefree awning switch area, if you will, right here. There's an on and off button, and there's retract, and there's the deployment. That's pretty standard. We have where we can lock our steps out. And what that means is, let's say that we want it where the steps are out the entire time, whether the door is opened or closed. That feature is created here, or if you will, addressed here. Then we have our main coach disconnect button right here. If I go like that, everything shuts down. We're back in business. This is our outdoor porch light. Little bit of lighting going on here. If I do this one here, we're going to get our overheads. If I hit the other switch, we're going to get our accent lighting and or under cabinet lighting. I think this is actually my preferred lighting. We'll get back into here, but there's main circuit breaker and board going on here, if you will, just kind of like what you would see at your house. But this is where I want to share a few things that have changed. In order to deploy your awning, these buttons right here, if I do not have the emergency brake set on this particular vehicle, that awning is not going to deploy. It's not going to do anything. And the reason that I think Winnebago did that, and I'm pretty confident, is in the event that you forgot to retract your awning and you decided to drive off, it's probably not going to happen because you weren't able to actually deploy it without the e-brake being set. So speaking of that in a whole bunch of reverse ways, e-brake is fully set, awning's going to work. The other thing you're going to notice is that we have a receptacle here and a receptacle here. Now you might be asking yourself, well, that's great, Jason. Thanks for pointing that out. Well, the one that is over here is designed specifically for our induction cooktop right here because it is a 20 amp breaker. This is set on a 20 amp breaker. The one that you have here is set on 15 amps. So in the event that you plug this in here, you got this operating at full potential, you're having a great time. It's going to let you know right away that you plugged it into the wrong location and you're going to trip the breaker more than likely. So again, just keep in mind, let me get the plug back in there, that the 20 amp is here, 15 amp is here, and that can be addressed for other appliances you might have. The drawers are pretty standard and generous. I have these little bamboo dividers in here. This was just for our short-term trip. We haven't actually done much, as you can see. We have a pretty generous deep drawer here. The thing that I would show you just briefly is Winnebago got kind of creative here. What if you need a little extension of your countertop? Right there, bingo, as they say. And it's pretty nice. I think that the way that the lighting comes across kind of accents that. Now, I don't personally know how much I'm going to use this, but the more that I'm thinking about it, it is starting to make sense. So I think that's kind of a neat little feature. As for the room that it takes up in the drawer, when you're not traveling down the road, maybe I'd place it up here. Maybe I'd slide it in somewhere else, but I'll leave that up to you. I'm sure that somebody out there is going to come up with a really creative way. The other thing that you'll notice is there is another, basically what I'm going to call our 12 volt fuse section. As you can see, it's just stuff like the refrigerator, the furnace, the awning, etc. So that in the event that maybe something's not working, you need to troubleshoot, one of the first places to start is right here at the fuse section. I'll pop that right back in. There we go. The other thing is we have our liquid propane and or alarm here. This is at lower level as per code to detect that if there's something going on that we don't want to have happen with carbon monoxide, poisoning, etc. That's right there. The other thing is we have a heater vent here. And as you come around, this is where your dinette table is stored. There is a felt liner in here, and there is a little stamp feature. We're going to make some adjustments, sorry about that, on this ourselves for our own reasons. The other thing that you might notice is that there is a water pump switch located here as well. There's one in the bathroom, and I'll show you where some other ones are in just a little bit. So as you're taking a peek around here, it's laid out really well. The other thing I like to talk about is the change in the convection oven right here / microwave. This has a ton of features. I actually went through the manual and was reading about this, and I think you're going to be blown away if you take the time to learn about it. What you can do with this, it's pretty phenomenal. We did a few little things in it, and we were very satisfied. I think the placement of it fits when we're speaking about ergonomics and where we're going to retrieve things. Usually, you know, sometimes microwaves way up here, you're tipping and tilting things. The other thing that I think Michelle and I actually enjoy is just this little, I'm going to call it like a little port window.
Yeah, at first I was, you know, I just thought I'd miss my other window, but that totally makes up for it.
Right
and
there.
Then, and this, of course.
Yeah, no, and actually, I think we're
sure.
going to get a lot of use out of here.
Yeah.
So that's basically the layout of your kitchen. There's a lot more that we could talk about.
What do you think of the juniper finish?
Actually, I love the juniper finish. So let's be truthful. When we were first talking about this, until you saw it in person and you got some of the pictures that they sent you on over, you were skeptical about it.
I'm more of a light, airy, bright
There's
color,
something
but,
about this.
I got in here and I was pleasantly surprised. It's very warm.
You know what it's made me feel is I feel a sense of calmness when I come in.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very welcoming.
Yeah.
So should we take them on over to the new location of the fridge?
Let's do it.
All right. We don't have much in here, y'all, but you'll notice that the refrigerator previously was located over here next to the kitchen area. They've moved it. The height, if you will, has changed a bit. So for folks that are as tall as I, you have your freezer. Again, same refrigerator, just ergonomics of this are a little bit more friendly. Your controls are still in the same location. You got your adjustable shelf. I shouldn't say it. Well, they are adjustable shelving. Got your pull-out drawer, some kombucha, some other little stuff. But I kind of love the new location of it. The other thing that I thought is if you're coming in the steps, maybe you're a little wet and dirty, you can do this big reach and maybe get some stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
Not getting in trouble.
Yeah. Now, as you can see, we got a lot going on here with our control panel. Everything's pretty straightforward. Typically, these were located right here as you came in the door on the Transit. And some folks were troubled by the light and different things. And I think maybe Winnebago was listening to that and said, you know what, let's just move them straight across. The other reason I think they really put them over here is because check this out. How in the heck would you put them here if you got the convection? Okay. All right. So,
all right, answer.
Yeah, so most of this is pretty straightforward. You got your Xanax or Xantrex control unit here. This is basically the identical face that you would see on the Pure Shine inverter that I'll show you later where that's located. The other thing is that you have most of your controls here. We can power up our generator. Gives us a little bit of an idea with the environmental temperature. Well, it's 84 degrees in here. In the winter, we're hot. We've got 100% of our fresh water at 50 gallons. Our gray water is at 51. And of course, you guys know the cheat code I showed you before. We're not going to get into that right now. But basically, that's what's happening from here. The other thing you're going to notice is that you are not controlling your water pump from here any longer. It's controlled again at the location by the kitchen. There's one outside, and there's one in the restroom. The other thing you're going to notice is that there's a nice, generous space here for storage, some things. I think there's a great opportunity up here to get creative. There's also a roof access port here, where typically it was located just in the rear part above the, I'm going to call it the driver's side bedroom. Again, 110, USB-Cs, the whole bit. Hinging system. Not much more to talk about other than I love it. All right, y'all, not much has changed from the bathroom. Here's our light switch. Going in, it's well lit in here. As you can see, Winnebago was very consistent. When it works, you leave it, right? So we got our sink here, water pump switch as normal. A little bit of a medicine cabinet feature right there. We've got our window with shade, so you get some nice ventilation, enjoy, etc. Thetford toilet with the cassette outside. Not much has changed there. Stuff pivots around, but there is one thing that's changed. And that is the fact that there is now an AC vent right here in the restroom. So those times that you were coming in here, you got your AC running, and this space is in a different climate. Game changer right now on those hot days. The other thing that we're going to add, obviously, is our curb here. We've talked about that in our other videos. And of course, the all famous pivoting shower. And everything there is pretty standard. We've talked about this in the past. There's not much more to share on that. One thing I would tell you is just make sure that that's clasped when you're driving down the road. You got the shower curtain.
Still here today.
Now that's a summary of the bathroom. And we kind of went through that quickly because a lot of y'all are now so familiar because this bathroom has become very well known and famous, if you will. Now we're coming into the sleeping quarters. Now, a few things have changed in the sleeping quarters. The general layout's the same. You have your window here on the passenger side, which is an exit window, emergency exit window. That is indicated by the exit and the red handles. You also have your shades, much like the others. Again, these are more insect, I wouldn't call them proof, resistant. There is one other little thing. As Shell pans right to her left, Shell now has a heating vent back here in the bedroom area.
I traded sides with you just because of this.
Yes. So that is one thing that has changed. There's
it.
actually a few. We'll pivot right around here. Obviously, we have our smoke detector and typical window. We have our shades. Beautiful view right here, the Columbia River Gorge. A lot of folks are mounting TVs up here. Again, you've got your 110, you've got your cable outlet. The other thing you're going to notice is that the AC unit is no longer located back here in the, let's call it the sleeping quarters bedroom space. The show swings right up that way. New location. I think this is going to be a game changer for most folks if they're transitioning out of the Transit into the Mercedes, let's call it Transit or Trekko to Sprekko. Trekko to Sprekko. We'll get that again. Anyway, it's no longer above the bed. It's going to be a little quieter. You still have your vents. Now, the system here for the bed is very much the same. Rolls on down, gets between the cushions. In theory, you're locked into place. And now you have the equivalent of a pretty generous size queen bed. The other thing that's changed here is they've gone from 76 inches to 80 inches. Now, I'm 5'9.5". If y'all can, I can keep that half. Show them down there.
Your feet aren't touching.
Well, no, this is weird. Let me tell you something. Oh, no, that makes sense. Okay, because I was like, that's more than 4 inches. All right, good enough. So anyway, if you pop up here, you've got, again, over cabinet or over bed cabinet storage. Our roof port is now in a new location, USB-Cs, 110. It's a pretty generous cabinet. I like the hinging. I use ours quite a bit, and you've probably noticed that there's these felt liners now. I think that's just to actually keep it a little quieter and damp proof. We typically like it this direction, so might as well set it up that way. The other thing that's changed, we'll start on this side. Well, really quickly before we do that, drawers. We have some socks and some remotes. On this side, I bet you we just have some brochures. There we go. And let's see here. We need to put our drawers back in here, as you all might remember. Let me pull these Nikes out here. Nike, if you're watching, I wouldn't mind, you know. But there's the water pump location, filter for the water pump. We can get into that later. We'll be insulating these compartments in another video. Put these back in. And Michelle's is very similar, with the exception of the table leg clips into here. We've got some drainage, a little bit of ventilation going on here, but very generous little drawer slash closet space area. Well, drawer to be created. Now, just like the Transit, the bed is going to lift up and give you some access here. Now, you'll notice that we have a bypass valve now located. This is new. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this different or in a future video. But the nice thing is, let's say that you need to bypass the Truma AquaGo outside. And it's a little cold out there, but you still want to circulate the water. By moving that, it's going to be a game changer for you. We're going to get, again, more into that later. The other side, again, lifts up. Not much has changed. Remember, before, if you remove this panel, I have a video on how to insulate that compartment, because on the outside there is all of our water control valves. I'm going to lower this back down.
Privacy curtain.
The other thing that is going on here is you'll notice that the motion light here is not on. But right here, they added a switch. Check this out. Now that was a mod some folks were doing. Winnebago went ahead and took care of it. The other thing is your Truma Control Center is right here. Obviously, we have an error code here because we don't have anything fired up. But all things are pretty much the same. We go here, go ahead and crank up the heat. We're not going to dare do that. As you guys saw, it was 84 degrees. In this case, and we have a whole video on this, we're going to talk more about it later. But all your controls for your water heating system, your the actual heating system in here, resetting the mode. Let me kick that back off. There we go. We're going to do a whole demonstration on this again in another video, but all your controls are in the same place. Your curtain pretty much operates the same. Nothing really different there. And what would you say, Shell? Anything that you think of in the bedroom that is different? Pretty much the same, right? I mean, I love these lights. It's interesting.
You don't have to press them twice or hold them.
Yep, it just like that. Now, some folks don't like these. We love them. We know tons of people that love them. I'm into them. It's kind of like if you're doing a little night reading and whatnot, it's right there.
This is the...
I mean, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, are you ready to eat? What do you want to do now?
Am I ready to eat? You give the key word. Yes, I'm ready to eat.
I'm hungry.
So as we close this part of the video out, don't worry. What we're going to be doing is as we get more and more familiar with our Sprinter EKKO, we're going to really be capturing information and moments on different things that have changed, why we love them, what we might do different and or change. And outside of that show, I say we go outside and maybe share a meal with these folks.
Yeah, we're going to hook up the trail fire.
All right, y'all. We were literally just talking about the countertop extension. Shell, are we loving it?
I'm loving it. Yeah, I have a whole nother counter area here.
Absolutely. And you have access to everything. I mean, I think what's cool is you've already been doing some little sink activity.
Situation going.
All right, tell them what we're cooking tonight.
Ooh, we got some. We're going to have some potatoes, some jalapenos, some roasted garlic, roasted asparagus, some bacon-infused filet mignon.
Bacon-infused? Oh, you stuffed it?
Or I'm stuffed, yeah, not infused. Anyway.
Well, some filet mignon. And what are we going to cook that on?
We're going to cook it on our trail fire.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I'm going to head out. You're going to prep this?
I'm going to finish this, and I'll be out. And we'll get
Catch you in a moment. I do love this. Holy macro. Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Kind of loving it.
Oh, yeah. Prepping the trail fire. All right, Shell, we need some goods. Tell me you didn't just use the drawer top.
And it worked fabulous.
Okay. The only thing we forgot was the table. What do you think?
It's looking and smelling delish.
All right. I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? We'll just double it up.
Perfect. Oh,
Look at that.
good.
Let's see.
Got the cheese on the asparagus.
Mm-hmm.
Potatoes. Let's do it. We got the table all set.
So y'all, we feel very blessed and fortunate. We're sitting down right now to enjoy our first meal inside of our new Sprekko. And one of the things we wanted to say thank you for is a very, very special gift that was given to us by Terry and Greg. They're friends of ours now, and we became friends through the EKKO community. And this is from Augusta Vineyards, and as you can see, that is a beautiful, beautiful dragonfly right there. And Terry and Greg, if you're watching, Shell and I feel so special and blessed to be a part of your life and your friendship. And we're going to enjoy this moment with this gift and this beautiful meal. And many blessings to the two of you, and many blessings to everyone. So should we enjoy, Shell?
Yeah, cheers.
All right. Thank you. Cheers, y'all. And cheers to you, Terry and Greg. Thank you for a very special bottle. It has a very special meaning.
Try this.
And that is delicious.
So keep watching our channel, subscribe so we can
Click the button, yeah, thank you.